Hello everyone, it is Karina with Karina Loves to Plan. Thank you for joining me in my little corner of the internet where we talk all things planners, fountain pens, and fountain pen inks. Today, I have a new pen day unboxing. This one was one that I never saw coming into my collection, but there were a few things that came into place that made this purchase worthwhile for me. First, I purchased this from PenChalet because I had credit. Second, the price was absolutely right for this particular pen, and it was a nib size that I do not currently yet have in my collection for this particular brand of pen. Now, the resin or the color of the pen is not something that I would normally go for, but I was okay to overlook that because the other three things that I just mentioned made this purchase really well intentioned because of the price point. So let's get started here. This is, oh wait, that's upside down. A Sailor. I mean, if you had asked me this time last year if I would ever purchase a Sailor again, I would have said no. And this is now my fourth Sailor Pro Gear. The other three are obviously from Wancher and Hachimonjia, but this one is an actual Sailor. So this is a Sailor Pro Gear, and I'm going to open this up here. Gosh, like you think I'd be better prepared with like the branding and making sure that it's all set up properly, but this is a Sailor Pro Gear, and I actually have to look up the name because I don't remember the name. This one I had in my cart for quite a few weeks because I was waiting for the perfect time basically to purchase this, both for the amount of credit that I had at PenChalet, but also in terms of shipping. I was able to ship this to my hotel in Minneapolis recently because I was there for a work conference, so I saved myself money on shipping as well as customs charges. So here we go. This is the Sailor, oh my gosh, I pulled it up and I can't, Sailor Pro Gear in Nebula. Right? This is not a color that I would normally go for. Blue is not normally my color, but the reason that I got this was because it has an extra fine 21 karat nib. Although the more that I look at it, I love the sparkles on here. Let me get this out of the packaging. So here we go, the Sailor Pro Gear in Nebula. Look at the dark, I guess it's dark blue or the black cap, and look at all of the blue sparkles that are in here. And I also love the clear finial here at the top, and then you have the lighter blue here with the silver glitter, and then even in this finial here there's some shimmer in there as well. Really beautiful. And then you've got the silver trim with the rhodium trim, and then it says here founded 1911, Sailor, Japan. And then we have the Sailor nib. This is in the 21K extra fine. Isn't that a gorgeous, gorgeous nib? Now, what else came in this box? So with the Sailor Pro Gear, it came with the 2 cartridges, which I will not be using, but then it also came with the converter. So beautiful. And then you have the North America limited warranty plus some information about how to use Sailor as a writing instrument. I actually really love this. I think it's such a great little bookmark as well. So maybe keeping that, we'll see. So put that all away here. And I'm going to do a size comparison of my Pro Gear with other pens that I currently have in my collection. We'll weigh this pen and then I will do a quick writing sample. So here we have the Sailor Pro Gear in Nebula, and I want to actually just pull out all the other Pro Gears that I currently have in my collection and highlight the differences in them as well. So we have here the Sailor Pro Gear from Hachimonjia, and this is in the Juyo Amethyst. Then we have another one from Hachimonjia. This is in the Kuzabukura, I think, or the Cherry Blossom. And then we have one from Wancher. This is in the Frozen Sake. Now, one thing I will mention with all three of these is that these three have an 18 karat nib on these, and each of these three actually has a fine nib, whereas the Sailor Pro Gear Nebula has a 21 karat extra fine nib. So there's definitely going to be difference in the writing with this nib versus the 18 karat nib on these these three. And obviously in terms of aesthetic, they look very, very different. I wanted to originally take this one and send it off to Bocamundo and get some Rodden work done on this one, because it's not normally a colorway that I would go for. But now that I look at it, it's really lovely on its own, and definitely something that I don't have in my collection in terms of a blue or black colorway. So then let's compare the Pro Gear to other pens in my collection. So for sizing, let's look at my TWSBI Eco here. And then we'll compare it to an Esterbrook Esty. Let's compare it to a Pilot Kakuno, and then we'll also compare it to a Platinum 3776. So when we line these up here, the Sailor Pro Gear is definitely the smallest out of all of these when these are capped, but now let's look at them uncapped. The Sailor Pro Gear still sits as the smallest one out of all of them. So it is definitely a smaller pen, but let's look at it in my hand. It does feel smaller, but it's one of those pens, those few pens that I would actually write with posted. And when it's posted, it is actually very comfortable in the hand. Now, I'm trying to balance it, and I'm trying to make sure that it doesn't fall. So having the cap on the back can definitely make it feel a little back heavy, but with the way that I hold my pen, it actually distributes the weight really well here. And then in terms of where my fingers sit on the grip section, the threads are not sharp at all, and the grip section is definitely on the smaller side of what I normally like to go for, but still comfortable in terms of holding. Now, the Pro Gear is basically on the verge of almost being too small, and definitely the Pro Gear Slim is too small for my hand. So the Pro Gear is definitely the perfect size for me. So then let's go ahead and weigh this pen, and let's do my writing sample. So for weight, I've added the converter in here. So capped, it is 25 grams, and then uncapped, it is 16 grams. So not a heavy pen at all, actually very well distributed in terms of weight. So let's go ahead and dip this pen and do my writing sample. So I'm here in my Hobonichi A5 notebook with 52 GSM Tomoe River paper, and I have here the pen profile stamp from the new Pen Day stamp collection from Everyday Explorers Co. And I've left a link to that shop in the description below. So I'm going to go ahead and ink the pen here in Pilot Iroshizuku Tsukio. And I'm excited. I fully blame Anne, and you know what you did, letting me try the Sailor 21 karat extra fine nib here. So the brand is Sailor, oh my god, and the model is Pro Gear, and the nib is a 21 karat extra fine, and the color is Nebula, and it is inked with Pilot Iroshizuku Tsukio. Definitely a little bit of feedback, but not bad at all. Okay, wow. This extra fine 21 karat nib is smooth and does not have as much feedback as I thought it would. I am loving this so far. The pen feels comfortable in the hand, and the resin with all of its shimmers is lovely. Now that I have a Sailor extra fine nib, I think my Sailor collection is complete. And it's just so smooth doing these figure eights and these line variations. So there is my new Sailor Pro Gear in Nebula with an extra fine nib. Did I ever think I was going to own this many Sailors? No. Did I ever think I would enjoy a Sailor extra fine nib? No. I am so pleased with this purchase. I purchased this from PenChalet, and this particular Pro Gear was actually less expensive than the other Pro Gears that are currently on their website. I believe there is one more left in the Zoom nib or the music nib, but this Sailor Pro Gear was I believe on PenChalet, let me just double check. On PenChalet, the retail price was $450, but then PenChalet was selling it for $360. There is still one left at PenChalet, and it is the music nib, and I apologize, this is the Iris Nebula. And I also had PenChalet credit, and I was able to get this sent to a hotel in the US, so I saved a lot of money in the end with this purchase. I don't think I would have purchased this pen full price or at the price that sailors are going for nowadays, but I also wouldn't have chosen this particular resin to begin with. It's not something I normally would like, but the more that I look at it, it's just, I love the shimmers here and I love the shimmers here. So sometimes when the price is right, going for a resin that you wouldn't normally go for to get the nib you want, all of those just kind of work together to purchase a pen just like this that would normally be outside of my comfort zone. And now I have an extra fine nib that I think I'm going to really, really like. All right, but that is it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. If you are interested in shopping with PenChalet and you haven't shopped with them before, I do have a code down below that will get you $10 off your first purchase from PenChalet. Or if you are interested in shopping with any other retailer, I do have a few discount codes down below as well. I'm really happy with this purchase. It was very intentional and something that I feel like with how much money I saved was definitely good value. All right, thank you all again so much for watching and have yourselves a great day.